This is the Troll Patrol, live with Justin FREAKIN.
Welcome to the Troll Patrol, live. It's a freaking Wednesday, and my cosmic goddess is here. Welcome, Sky Comet. Welcome, RB. You are right, RB. Weed. It is time for weed. I'm not high enough for this shit. What we are getting ready to witness. The Senate is currently in session. They are going to be voting on a bill to codify the Roe v. Wade decision. It is not going to pass. They do not have the votes to clear the filibuster. But they don't even have all of the Democratic coalition. Joe Manchin coming out today and saying he will not vote for this bill. Fuck you, Joe Manchin. So the vote is supposed to take place at around 3 p.m. Eastern, which is about what time it is. So, see what's going on. I think they have wrapped up debate. Oh, it is not going to happen. This is just showboating by Chucky Schumer. So they were debating less than 20 minutes ago. Some dumb fuck Republican was up there talking some bullshit. Oh, you're right. 1 hour away. It's 2 p.m. Eastern right now. Yeah, me too, Leedy. So if the vote is at 3 p.m., we should still have some debate before the vote happens. As I said, there was a dumb fuck Republican saying some real dumb shit as I was putting clothes on to get ready for this. I'm not high enough for this, because I'm not high enough at all. Hey, Amnestic. Yes, Justin, sometimes when there is breaking news going on, Justin will come on and cover some of the breaking news. Here we have the vote to codify Roe v. Wade. I can't tell, but that looks kind of like Susan Collins right there, Senator Collins. I'm not sure because I can't really see. That's not Susan Collins, I'm sorry. But I was gonna bring up the supposed vandalism outside of Susan Collins' house. Where someone used sidewalk chalk on the sidewalk out from her house. He called the cops. Also, last night I made the comment that I hadn't heard of any churches being vandalized. I hadn't at the time. I figured that if there had been churches vandalized having to do with abortion, that we would have heard about it. Well, now I've heard about it. There were 3 churches in Texas, apparently. We're going to talk about that tonight. Ron DeSantis's map. His that's weird. Sky comment. I don't know why. This happens from time to time that the Twitch comments won't show up on screen. It seems to correct itself in a couple minutes. But sometimes that happens. But the districting map submitted by Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida has been rejected by a judge. RB currently baking 7 grams of weed to make a fresh batch of tincture. Hell yeah! Yes! Sidewalk chalk washes right off. Also, sidewalks are public. As I pointed out last night on the stream, there is indeed a Supreme Court ruling that said you can go to the homes of abortion providers and protest them. The Supreme Court has literally said that you can go to people's homes and protest them as long as you're on the sidewalk. They ruled that was free speech. But now, this specific Supreme Court has no regard for precedent, so I don't know if that actually matters to them or not. There is some talk about a federal statute that prevents people from protesting judges, but I don't think that applies in this case because I think that's like to coerce judges into the decision that you want in some kind of a criminal case or something. I'd have to look at the entire, like, we kind of brushed over this last night on the Troll Patrol, but I need to actually look at that law and see exactly what it applies to. I would assume it doesn't apply to voters protesting the Supreme Court. Crude pictures of Sailor Moon. Yes. I think we've all been guilty of vandalizing sidewalks with chalk. Here in the greatest country on earth.
Senator from Oklahoma.
This is the Senate currently in a quorum call.
Oh, well, this is going to be fun.
Thank you. Madam President, last week, a draft opinion was leaked out of the Supreme Court.
Senator James
which
Langford,
never happens. Literally
Republican
has
from
not
Oklahoma.
Ever happened until now. Chief
I
Justice
mean,
of the
it's
Supreme
not.
Court
I'm not referring to it as breaking news. I'm referring to this as a special report. They are voting to codify Roe v. Wade, but it ain't gonna pass. They don't even have all the Democrats.
Protocol in the Supreme Court was violated. It was because the court dared to say that when the Supreme Court ruled in 1973 on Roe v. Wade, it made a mistake.
By the way, it is almost certain
The draft
that it was
opinion
right-wingers leaking this.
It stated that the opinion of 1973 exceeded the constitutional boundaries. For 200 years, the legislatures determined when life began. But in 1973, the court determined that states cannot protect its youngest citizens of their state and created a new standard called...
This is us watching them fail and be dumb, Porg,
no
yes.
statement in the Constitution and no statement in federal law. They literally created the viability standard on the spot. The draft opinion from...
I don't know, there is something going on with the comments.
States that should not have been done in 1973, and that the people in each state and legislatures...
I don't know why some of your comments are not showing up. That's a
They should
restream
have
thing.
that decision based in law. Apparently, this body, including the Democratic majority, agrees.
By the way, I'm wearing my fuck Nazis shirt.
Decision. Because the court says these issues should be settled in legislative
Because
branches,
fuck these
not in the
Nazis.
court. And so today, a week after that draft opinion is out, Senator Schumer has called
Gluttons for punishment indeed, Ginger.
vote on Roe v. Wade. And not just vote on Roe v. Wade, vote on a very simple decision.
He does look like a Draugr from fucking Skyrim.
The real question that comes up is, when is that child a
We
child?
need to foo-rah-doh you off a cliff, sir.
The most simple of questions for those two little ones, which I know
Those are babies, sir.
before would have been in the womb.
Those are babies. If you see anybody
That this
murdering a
body is
baby,
dealing with today,
let the cops know. That is
pretty
illegal.
straightforward. Who gets to decide whether she lives or dies? Who gets to pick that? I think she should live. And for that simple statement that I believe
That baby is alive, sir.
I've been called a
Bus rod. I'm sorry.
extremist. Because
I have indeed played and beaten Skyrim,
what kind of upside down world
but I'm not like a fanatic about it.
when people who believe children are valuable are
Very good point, Sky Comet. Does the child get tax credits, Medicaid, welfare checks? Can you
totalitarian.
start charging child support?
The day before Mother's Day, the headquarters for Concerned Women for America, a pro-life organization.
Can you deduct them on your taxes? You can't. Why? Because the government doesn't legally consider them a person.
And vandalized.
You know, the moment that the government legally considers that a person is the moment they are born.
On Mother's Day, someone tried to burn down a pregnancy resource center in Wisconsin that provides baby formula and baby clothing and diapers to new moms and provides ultrasounds to expectant moms. That facility they attempted to burn down.
I would assume that's one of those facilities where they try to disingenuously reroute you from an abortion clinic.
Either.
And they provide those things in order to, like, here, look at what you'd be killing.
A journalist from Rewire saw the news story on the attack in Wisconsin and immediately tweeted out, "More of this. May these people never know a moment of peace or safety until they rot in the ground." Also on Mother's Day, protesters showed up at Catholic churches around the country to protest the Catholic Church's stand for this little girl.
Yeah, good. There are a million things to protest the Catholic Church over. It is a horrible institution, sir.
Over in the last week at the justices' homes to chant on bullhorns and to threaten the justices because they dare to follow the Constitution.
Threaten the justices, sir. Does the Constitution not say that we have a right to protest the government for a redress of grievances?
Them away from us. Cut off their internet access so they can't send us any more opinions based on pro-rape judicial
theory. They can't feel shame. This motherfucker can't feel embarrassment. That's why he's still able to show his face in public.
Tweeted out by journalists, tweeted out by activists. The simple statements like this: equity, privacy rights, bodily autonomy, healthcare decisions, freedom to choose, reproductive rights, basic civil rights. All those are euphemisms.
Yes. The treatment for an ectopic pregnancy is an abortion. The treatment for miscarriage that your body won't rid of itself is an abortion.
Why are people so passionate?
It is indeed healthcare.
Because it's not just a person in this conversation. She's in this conversation.
No, she is not. She is a baby that has been born.
Her opportunity.
This is what it's called an emotive argument, where I show you this sweet face like, the Democrats want to kill this. Are you for that?
I'm being called.
No, sir. You are a disingenuous
because I believe
piece of shit. Well, that's a baby. You can believe that's valuable.
When I was at home, ran into someone just out and about who wanted to talk to me about this issue about life, who was very passionate about the freedom to be able to take her life just hours before.
Didn't Oklahoma execute an innocent person not that long ago?
Conversation as we got back and forth on it, I asked him very simply, you know, it's federal law right now that we protect turtle eggs. Turtles, if you destroy a turtle egg, it's a federal offense with a very...
Yes, because it's an endangered species.
Destroy an eagle egg, it's a very big offense with a federal...
I'm sorry, the Oklahoma did indeed grant clemency in that case. I'm sorry.
That in federal law, we protect an eagle egg, acknowledging that's an eagle inside.
At the last minute, they granted clemency.
Egg, saying we acknowledge that's a turtle inside that egg, but we allow the destruction of children. And to my shock, they responded, well, turtles and eagles are endangered. So
yeah.
They should be protected.
Yes, we're trying to protect their species from going extinct.
Because I happen to believe she's precious, and just because there are billions of other humans around, I don't think she's disposable.
But she's been born. She's a child.
What are you really talking about?
What we're talking about is a woman's right to not be pregnant if she doesn't want to.
And for each state legislature to decide.
And there are numerous reasons, some of them heartbreaking, rape, incest, I can go on and on. But the number one reason that a woman should be allowed to seek an abortion is because she doesn't want to be pregnant anymore.
Branch, including this one. to be able to have a state-by-state and a national dialogue on this simple question: when does life begin? Some people will say at conception, as I do, and quite frankly, as science also agrees with. That's cell division, that's unique DNA. All the makeup.
Oh, hold up. You say at conception, and you say science agrees with you. Technically, what you're referring to is the fact that cells are alive. So my cum that I jizzed on a rag just a few hours ago is alive and precious, according to your logic, sir.
Different DNA in them. Why are they different DNA in those particular cells than every other cell in the mom's body? Because that's a different body that's there. That's why. Some people believe that life begins at conception.
Notice how he says some people believe this, some people believe that. That is because the question of when life begins is one of morality, which is one of morality.
Others at birth. Why don't we have that conversation?
I had an idiotic right-winger
Because quite frankly,
on Twitter,
as I think about life, and I look at this baby.
yeah, I had the gametes and shit. Fucking some dude was going off on that with me the other day.
For some reason, there's a whole bunch of people that say that baby's alive and that baby's tissue and not alive. Some people would look at...
There you go. Whether you think it's a moral question or not doesn't absolve you from answering the question.
And would say, totally.
This is the dumb fuck I was arguing with. I'm sorry I was not paying attention to you today. Obs, you needed some. One example, when does life begin? You avoid it like a dog turd on an ice cream cone. Are you unaware that people aren't stupid or just narcissists? I don't know what that means.
And that baby look a lot alike to me.
No, I said it was a moral question, which is the correct answer.
Fingers on both.
It's a moral question, meaning it depends on each individual's morality. There is no objective right or wrong answer to this question. How are you this dense?
With their hands up over their heads, and lots of babies do that, including mine did. This baby's in the touchdown position asleep, and look, this one is too. What's the difference between these two?
One has been born, motherfucker. One has the rights of a human being and is legally recognized by the government.
And for that, I'm called the extremist and the radical. This baby...
Exactly, Sky Comet. They say it's not human. It's not a human
responds to
yet.
their mom's voice, feels pain, has unique fingerprints, has unique DNA.
Does not feel pain. Does not feel pain. There is no evidence that unborn fetuses feel pain.
That's it.
Matter of fact, as far as I know, they still justify circumcision because they believe that newborn infants can't feel pain, which is not true, by the way.
It's been brought to the floor today.
There has been a lot of research on this because this is fascinating as well. By the way, to bring up something like I watched a documentary on, they're doing research on performing surgeries on infants and shit because it's. While they're not going to remember the pain, they remember the trauma that the pain caused. And they're seeing this trauma reverberate throughout their lives. So, it's a very interesting question. But for the longest time, they allowed circumcision because they didn't feel that infants felt pain. Weird.
Based on the particular facts of the case before the healthcare provider, there's a reasonable likelihood of sustained fetal survival outside the uterus with or without artificial support. Interestingly enough, it just basically says the doctor...
Great point, Scrappy. When people believe in objective morality, they seem to only think that their own and not anyone else's.
We all get the joke on this. We know what this really means. This bill is not about viability.
That's correct.
This bill is about whatever age, at whatever time, anyone wants to perform an abortion at any moment.
And that's another thing. When they're talking about third trimester abortions, they are talking about specific pregnancies that the woman wanted to carry. And there have been complications where the mother's life is in danger. The child's life can be in danger. That's what we're talking. They are incredibly rare when performed in the third trimester. But it is important that we allow that. And that's one of the reasons why Manchin won't vote for the bill that they're voting on today, is because it protects the ability for doctors to be able to make that decision in the third trimester, which I would assume doesn't have time to go to the courts. A doctor needs to make that decision on the spot because there's a problem with the mother's health. These people are fucking assholes. They're evil.
Restriction on abortion, and it gives a statutory right to abortion, even though 71% of Americans believe there should be some limits to abortion. This bill says, no, there can't be. And then it reaches into every state and abolishes any restrictions that may be on abortion at all in any state. For instance, if a state says there has to be more information given to the woman, like an ultrasound, or just give information,
which is bullshit.
Child, it abolishes.
Bullshit.
So a state cannot inform the mom.
A state should not be allowed to do that shit.
It also abolishes any other restriction on television.
They want dead women and dumpster babies.
Any state has on safety.
You did not miss it, Warlord. The vote that is going to fail, is going to take place in about 45 minutes.
And just says every restriction that's out there on safety has to be stripped away. No state can put a restriction out there on this. It takes away any right of any state to actually restrict abortions being carried out on minors without parental consent. It strips away any kind of waiting period laws.
Yeah. First of all, I don't think minors should be allowed to carry a child.
If a doctor,
I'm probably in the minority on this. That's fine. Everybody can have different opinions. I think you should probably be forced to abort if you get pregnant before 18. You are not mature enough to have a child. But once again, that's my personal morality. I don't know if that should be in law, and I would have to think long and hard about it. Cancel Justin, indeed.
And says, your religious conscience doesn't matter, it's an abortion, get over it. That's what this bill says. This is not some simple codifying Roe bill.
But once again, telling them they have to give it up for foster care after they've carried the baby, there's the whole part of like the postpartum depression.
This little girl is valuable.
I don't know. It's sticky, but I'm just throwing it out there that like that seems to be the more moral thing. If you care about the life of children, is not to let a child have a child. But now I'm gonna get a lot of people that are gonna pop up, be like, well, my mom had me when I was 16. My mom had my brother when she was 16, or some shit like that. Yeah, that shit needs to stop.
We should all be working to support women in very difficult days. But she matters in this conversation.
Okay, either or. Okay, I like that, Scrappy.
Lose track of that.
Also, I'm not sure that this is something that I would want to be legislated.
Even her own child. How can we tell other people?
Period. Just because like shit like this probably doesn't need to be legislated.
Teresa's opinion that child is a child. I would also tell you
they're coming for birth control,
Joe
Leedy.
Biden's as well. Joe Biden also made the statement just last week.
Yes. Everyone, don't take this as any like firm position that any of us hold. We're just spitballing here.
To abort a child was President Biden's statement. I agree. The conversation right now on the floor is what's her future.
No, it's not. She has been born.
We'll decide a lot. I can assure you, I'm going to speak out the rights for every single child. And we'll declare again, every child.
You're from Oklahoma. You guys have been assaulting children.
Children are valuable, so be it. But I think it tells us a lot about our culture.
Republicans want to take away your cock socks.
Because I believe she has a hope.
Yes, you are the radical one, sir. Yeah, it is weird that all these people that believe in God, the people that believe in God, who say that, God already knows the future, they believe in free will. I actually don't believe in God and don't believe in free will, which has its own implications. I'm probably not ever going to have that discussion with someone, though.
To speak for up to 10 minutes.
Fucking Grassley.
Murray for up to 5 minutes prior to the scheduled roll call votes.
Without objection.
Senator Langford just said that this bill is all about legalizing abortion anytime, any place in this country. He's right, but I'm going to add that this legislation is being discussed for political purposes, and we're wasting time on this issue because we could be.
Your life matters, Sky Comet. They just don't care. Republicans don't care.
Speak for a year and a half about the necessity of getting prescription prices down. And
There was a Twitter thread that I saw today, and I'll see if I can find it once I turn Grassley up here again. That was just women talking about all the misconceptions that their significant others have had over the years. Shit that they've had to inform their boyfriends, husbands, or just partners of. That was just insane. It was insane. Yes, I remember my friend that posted it. Hold on, I'll go find it.
Not even a final decision as an excuse.
It's going to be like 49-51. Could be 48. Cinema could join with Manchin. But I would assume
Common sense.
he votes with the Democrats.
This bill goes much further than its stated position to codify Roe v. Wade decision. As ranking member of the Senate Judiciary Committee, I've raised many concerns about this legislation. The so-called Women's Health Protect Act would invalidate hundreds of abortion-related laws in our various states, such as clinic regulations, admitting privileges requirements, regulations on abortion-inducing drugs, reflection periods, conscience protections, sex selection bans, and limitations on the use of state funds and facilities for abortion training. Iowa and many other states have taken action on their own to enact common sense restrictions. I don't think this bill is common sense because it allows late-term abortions, which could be up even to the day of birth. Some states have protected individuals from having to perform.
This is the reason why idiot-ass people like Chuck Grassley should not be making decisions for women's health care. This is Sabrina Fawn on Twitter. I tweet this every time men decide it's time to make decisions about women's bodies. But my ex-boyfriend thought all women got their period on the 15th of the month. He was 26 at the time. I once got another boyfriend to believe that birth control doesn't work if you have sex twice in one day because the pill can only hold back so much cum. He was 32. Managed volunteers at a museum. A new recruit, man in his late 50s, was surprised women were allowed to touch anything without gloves because of how acidic our fingers get during that time of the month. He thought our hands can burn through solid objects when we menstruate. One of my exes came to me slightly bewildered with the question, how do women go swimming without their uterus filling up with water? He really thought we filled up like a water balloon. My first husband was furious and screaming at me as I was vomiting from morning sickness because he was sure I was going to throw up the baby. My first husband was convinced I didn't actually have morning sickness because he felt fine. An ex told me that it's not a real baby if it's born by C-section. When I told him I was born by C-section, he was enraged and refused to clarify what he meant. Screamed something about you just don't understand how women's bodies work. He was 25. These are just like, take it with a grain of salt. These are just people telling their personal stories on Twitter. They may or may not be true. And next, that told me women shouldn't complain about their periods because they are clearly getting pleasure from their tampons. He was pre-med. Yeah. Once again, Warlord Von Wolf is from the UK. We should start testing for lead in the atmosphere again. You are correct.
Piece of legislation. No, this proposed legislation is an example of extremism. It's unfortunate.
I believe those stories because I've heard men say stupid shit myself.
To appear compassionate and concerned about
RB, I was educated in the slaver South.
Disregards popular and common sense laws that protect women and children across the country. Large majorities of Americans support.
Abby makes a good point. Both DARE and sex ed in high school, at least in my time frame, were a fucking joke.
I understand and appreciate the robust debate around this subject. However,
they think that women can melt steel beams.
With the rhetoric of some of my colleagues, they refuse to discuss important priorities of what the American people want.
Oh, wow.
One extreme option. Let me be clear.
Grandmother refused to get up after she had her first child because she thought her organs would all fall out.
Contraception and family planning tool. Let's have a productive discussion.
And let's not mock either. Like that's ignorance. That's just not knowing.
It's important.
It's from being from a different time.
And peers on our differences. But we must unite to protect life because every single life is precious. The Women's Health Protection Act.
Every single life is precious. This fucking warhawk has the audacity to say.
To vote against the motion to proceed. I yield.
President. The senator from Washington.
Madam President, I ask unanimous consent. Senator Schumer be recognized following my remarks prior to the scheduled roll call vote.
Without objection.
Thank you, Madam President.
Chuck Grassley is one of the longest-serving senators, if not the longest-serving senator now. 40-something years. Imagine how much death, how much blood is on that man's hands. And he has the audacity to get up and say, every life is precious.
To have fewer rights than their mothers. Think about that for a second. My daughter, my granddaughters will have fewer rights than I did. I truly never thought I would say that, and it breaks my heart. These past few days have just...
Unfortunately, it's been coming for a long time, and people have predicted this exact thing. Fucking Frank Zappa sang a song about it in the mid-'80s, and what would happen if the evangelicals got a hold of government. Well, guess what? Everything Frank Zappa predicted in that song, which is called Jesus Thinks You're a Jerk, came true.
By half a century. Across the country, Republicans in state legislatures are banning abortion, and they are making it crystal clear they are going to go even further. They're coming.
You may be right on that, Warlord, that Leahy is the longest serving. I think you are indeed right on that.
Medication in the mail. They are coming after your birth control.
Wade's also way ahead of his time.
And IUDs. And right here in the Senate, they are talking about a federal abortion ban. A federal abortion ban. That means a ban even in states like mine where the right to abortion is now protected. Senate Republicans want to make sure women from Seattle to New York cannot make their own health care decisions. For many Republicans, this is just the beginning. But to everyone who is scared, to everyone who is furious, know this.
Not high enough for this shit.
Roadblocks in their way. Me, Senate Democrats, House Democrats, and millions of patients across this country who are going to stand up and speak out. So I rise today.
Zappa is one of my idols. Now I was talking with Sparkles about this. Like, the only thing that you can throw at Zappa is like, you might be able to say that he was kind of transphobic just by the phrases he uses. But if you listen to his work, he is very accepting. He's just using some 50-year-old terminology.
about their body.
Or
Every mother
doesn't even have
makes their
terminology
own decisions about
yet
their
to
family.
describe what is
Every
going on that
woman
he's singing
makes
about
their own
50
decisions
fucking
about
years
the
ago,
future.
which is pretty progressive.
Because while Republicans have constantly been attacking the right to abortion, and they've been pushing that end day in and day out for decades, by the way.
1,994 total people have been a
on
senator
what
in Congress.
overturning Roe v. Wade will
Interesting.
actually mean for
1994.
people. Taking away a woman's bodily autonomy, which, let's be clear, is exactly what Republicans are talking
I
about.
wonder what the
Impact
turnover
her
has
whole
been
life.
throughout the Senate.
Forced
I would say
pregnancy
that the turnover is less in
entire
recent
economic
years, wouldn't
future.
you?
It takes away her ability to determine the direction of her own life. It forces women to be pregnant and give birth when they don't want to, no matter their individual circumstance. It hurts people in real and irreparable ways. I know after so many decades of precedent, an end to the rights so many women have lived with their entire life seems completely unthinkable. But this is real. This is happening, and Republicans have been preparing for this for decades. We are about to see a tidal wave of abortion bans across the country. So this vote today will force Republicans to face up to the hurt and suffering they have caused and will cause.
Nasty
The lives
Natty!
hang in the balance. And we
Well,
all
thank
know
you.
that
I
if
as well
Roe
love my
falls, the
flag.
heaviest burdens will
And
land
right-wingers
on
are indeed
already
morons.
face the greatest challenges. Mothers who are barely scraping by. It's black women who already face a severe maternal mortality crisis. It's indigenous women, especially those on tribal lands, who suffer from violence at unprecedented levels. It is women with disabilities who may already face discrimination in routine medical care. It is women in rural communities.
Well, and then, ma'am, you're making the perfect point of why they're coming for this. They are assaulting the rights of poor people. They're coming after poor people, minority groups, because they're easy to
And it is our
attack.
gay and trans neighbors who Republicans never seem to miss an opportunity.
And boy, like, it has disheartened me how profitable bigotry and zealotry is in this fucking
And many of
country.
my colleagues know.
Seeing how right-wingers just make bukus of money feeding these bigots the bullshit that they want to hear just disheartens me so much.
We need to be clear-eyed that this will impact all of us. For one thing, we know the health care crises caused by
They're outside of the justices' houses.
will stretch across state lines. Texas passed a law letting people
This was the scene outside of Alito's house on Monday.
for providing an abortion.
Also,
This
journalist Talia Jane,
rushed
fantastic
Oklahoma.
follow.
Only for that state to pass an extreme ban as well, meaning more patients traveling even further with
Anna's rant last week was fantastic, Nasty Natty.
We're seeing this firsthand in my home state of Washington. After Idaho
That was one of those rants that made me like smack the table like, yeah, go girl.
incoming patients surging into Washington. So there can be no question. If Roe
We've got it. I know RB hates it when I go to this, but like we got to get the baby boomers out of
right to
power.
abortion, people in every single
I have not
state
watched Bo of the Fifth
will live
Column.
with
If they're also a
painful
commentator, I don't tend to watch
they
other
will not
commentators
forget
because I don't want their
Republicans
stuff
are the ones
to seep into
responsible
me.
for this.
The Anna thing went viral. That's why I watched
Let's
it.
also remember, Republicans have been clear. They have.
I
been
don't
explicit,
tend to watch Young
even that
Turks.
they are
Like
not gonna
if I
stop
see
at
a
they're not going to stop at the
if
state
I see
level.
a video
They're
that
not
injures
gonna
me,
stop at
I'll look
abortion.
at it.
I can't say this enough.
Not that I think they do a good job, and I
Already
defend them quite
talking
often.
about passing
Just
a
I don't
federal
want their
ban on
commentary
abortion.
to infect me. I want to have my own
Republicans are
opinions.
already talking
The
about
old
how
guard gotta go.
struck down a ban on birth control might have been wrongly decided. Republicans are already talking about banning IUD.
Oh yes, thank you, Sky Comet, for leaving that there.
They even
There
held a
are
vote
multiple
to
resources. Please, if you
undermine
guys
our
know of
federal
any
family
good
planning
resources,
program and make it harder for
do
people
throw them in the
to get
comments. Do throw
birth
them in the
control.
Discord.
Madam President, it is clearer than ever that because of Republicans' extremism, not only is the right to abortion at risk, but other important rights are as well. That's why people are so scared And that's why they are so.
Well, I see some people on leftist
Someone
Twitter
back there
attacking
said,
like
"Well,
Young
last week,
Turks as
what
being
can we
like
tell
too
women in our
milquetoast
state
for
so
them." I'm
they
like,
don't
cool, that's
worry?"
fine, but there has to be
Straight
something
up,
that's
I'm not
a
telling anyone
bridge
to worry. I'm scared, and I
from
am
liberal
frightened
propaganda
for women
over
in
into
this country
leftist thought,
more
and
than I
TYT
ever
is a
have
good
been
bridge. That's
before.
what they do. They make
very
easily
fearful, Madam
digestible videos
But I'm also
that could
determined.
go viral on
And I know people
YouTube.
across the country do
There's a
not
place
wanna
for
go
the
backwards.
Young Turks, but
They
there's a
do
place
not
for
want
theory, and there's a place for what I
politicians planning
do.
Their families for them. They do not want politicians forcing people.
Thank you,
to stay
Scrappy.
pregnant.
That is
They
awesome.
do not want this to be the first generation of women.
I'm throwing those in the
rights
Discord
and
as
their
well.
mothers, which is why today we are now voting on the Women's Health Protection Act. What this bill does is
And I'll post those on my
follows the
Facebook.
Constitution and nearly half a century of and gives the patient the right to get an abortion, no matter where in America that patient or doctor lives. And the question every single senator today is asked is simple as well. Do you trust women? Do you trust patients?
And if you have the resources,
doctors?
go donate to one of these
Do you
abortion
believe
funds,
every
please.
American should be able to make deeply personal decisions about
I
pregnancy?
will do so whenever I'm in a weird fucking spot right now where I can't accept
Without
invoices on my
government
PayPal
interference?
because of the scam,
Your
and I had to
answer is
change my
yes.
bank account,
Then your vote
and
on
like
this
there's
bill
a whole fucking thing going on. So like
Your
I've
answer
got
is
money,
if you think
I
women
can't
should
accept
have
it right
fewer
now.
rights, if you think it's okay for Republican politicians to force someone else to stay pregnant or give birth when they don't want to,
But as soon as my funds are available to me, I'm gonna go donate to
you
some
think
abortion
your
funds.
personal opinion matters more than their own medical decisions. And you better believe no one will forget this. Thank you, Madam President. I yield the floor.
The Senate will be in order. The Senate will be in order. Thank you. Expressions of approval are not allowed by the gallery.
It was a good speech, ma'am. I'm sorry I didn't pay much attention to it.
First, thank my dear friend and colleague from Washington for her powerful and heartfelt words, and for her leadership as well. Now, Madam President, the question before the Senate is simple. As women's rights face their greatest threat in half a century, will this chamber
awesome,
step
warlord.
into the breach and protect the basic right to choose? Will we enshrine into law what courts have held for decades, that decisions women make about their pregnancies belong to them and them alone? Or will
Oh yes, we played that clip last night of Schumer's like, people protest outside of my house 3 or 4 times a week.
Across the street.
They're peaceful.
Take a
Okay, that's their right.
fundamental away from millions and upon millions of women in this country. In a few minutes, it will be time for members to vote. The legislation before this chamber is straightforward. It would codify what Americans already believe, that the right to choose whether or not to have an abortion belongs to women, not elected politicians. It will preserve the safeguard that conservative justices seem ready to strike down in just a few weeks. If they follow through with their decision, the United States, which has always aspired to the expansion of rights, will take a shameful and repressive step.
This is also a sign of a Democratic backslide as well.
Will grow up
That's
in
the
a
first thing they come for is reproductive
fewer
rights.
than those who came before them. This decision.
But I mean, we already knew that. We watched an insurrection happen live a year and a half ago.
There'll be order in the Senate. Please take your conversations off the floor.
This decision, if formalized, would be remembered as one of the worst and most damaging cases in the entire history of the Supreme Court. So this is not a theoretical exercise. Oh no. Protecting the right to choose at this critical moment is one of the most consequential votes we could possibly take. And the American people are watching. The public will not forget which side of the vote senators fall on today. They will not forget who voted to protect their freedoms. And they will not forget those responsible for the greatest backslide of individual.
I'm sorry, Chucky. Just most people are not paying attention to
across the
this.
country. The hard right is hell-bent on sending women's rights back to the Stone Age And we in the Senate must respond.
That's unfortunate.
We must respond to radicals who want to ban abortions as early as 6 weeks before many women know they are pregnant. We must respond to extremists who want to prosecute and imprison women and doctors for carrying out an abortion. And even friends who merely provide rides to clinics could end up in jail. And we must respond to the swell of hard-right ideologues who openly champion restrictions without exceptions for rape or incest. We must oppose the vision that MAGA Republicans clamor for. Forced
The Ultra MAGAs!
punishment for women and doctors, and zero exceptions for rape or incest. This is not what America wants. I hope it is not what members of this chamber want either. I implore everyone whose conscience has been jolted over the past week to vote in favor of today's measure. Indeed, I implore everyone who cares about the rights of not just women, but of all Americans to support this measure. Because if 5 unelected justices are allowed to decide the fates of millions of women, if the rights women have relied...
All 5 of which were appointed by presidents that didn't win the popular vote. Oh, I'm sorry, not fucking Thomas. 4 of which...
If we do not take a stand now to...
appointed by presidents who did not win the popular vote.
Mark my words, there will be open season on our God-given freedoms in this great and grand country. Today it will be Roe. Tomorrow it will be a national ban on abortion. And beyond that, something even more dreadful. We cannot allow this shameful backslide to happen. We cannot allow the whims of MAGA Republicans to bully the rest of the country into submission.
Oh yeah, they're coming for gay rights. They're coming for contraceptives. They're coming for
and Americans to fight back.
This is that moment. First they came for the socialists, and I said nothing because I was not a socialist. This is that fucking moment. Fuck, we've been in that moment for years now.
I yield the floor. Call the vote.
Under the previous order, all post-cloture time is expired. The question is on the Bedoya nomination.
Interracial marriage. Yes, they're coming for
There's
interracial
a
marriage.
second. There appears to be. The clerk will call the roll.
Ms. Baldwin.
So here we go. This vote is going to fail. It is going to fail. They do not have... This isn't even the vote on the legislation. This is the vote to end debate, to end cloture. This is what the filibuster is for. So you need 60 votes, and it will not get 60 votes right now. It's not even going to get 50, which is a fucking shame. Joe Manchin came out earlier today and said he cannot support this legislation because he says it doesn't codify Roe, it expands abortion. Fuck all the way off Joe Manchin. Shameful. Yes, there should be, isn't it from like Handmaid's Tale where like people are like, shame, shame. That's what they should be doing outside of the Senate.
Mrs. Blackburn. Mr. Blumenthal. Mr. Blunt. Mr. Booker. Mr. Bozeman. Mr. Braun. Mr. Brown. Mr. Burr. Ms. Cantwell.
Imagine having such a cool name as Blunt.
Mr. Carper.
Or Mr. Blunt. Roy Blunt, even.
Mr.
And being
Cassidy.
such a
Ms.
douchebag.
Collins. Mr. Coons. Mr. Cornyn. Ms.
Oh, it's Game of Thrones? I'm sorry.
Mr.
I'm
Cotton.
confused. I knew it was one of those dystopian fantasy
Mr. Kramer.
novels. I didn't know which one it was.
Mr. Cruz. Mr. Daines. Ms. Duckworth. Mr. Durbin. Ms. Ernst. Mrs. Feinstein. Mrs. Fisher. Mrs. Gillibrand. Mr. Graham. Mr. Grassley. Mr. Haggerty. Ms. Hassan. Mr. Hawley. Mr. Heinrich. Mr. Hickenlooper.
I am
Mr.
interested to
Mr.
see how this
Hovind.
turns out, just to see how
Mrs.
many
Hyde-Smith.
Democrats vote against it.
Mr. Inhofe, Mr. Johnson,
Is it just going to be Manchin?
Mr. Kelly, Mr. Kennedy, Mr. King,
Mr. Kennedy!
Mr. Langford, Mr. Leahy,
Kennedy!
Mr. Lujan,
You goddamn right they're going to come after movies, games.
Lummis,
What's up, Dustin? I mean,
Mr.
they're already coming after... They're coming after any teacher that identifies as pansexual, gay, bisexual.
Mr. Markey,
We've already seen it.
Mr. Marshall, Mr. McConnell, Mr. Menendez, Mr. Merkley, Mr. Moran,
Mine Ernst.
Ms. Murkowski, Mr. Murphy, Mrs. Murray, Mr. Ossoff, Mr. Padilla, Mr. Paul, Mr. Peters,
Disgusting Rand Paul. We're about a week away from Charles Booker officially being
Mr. Reed,
Rand Paul's opponent
Mr. Risch,
in the Senate.
Mr. Romney,
Be a shame if Charles Booker unseated
Rosen,
Rand Paul.
Mr. Rounds, Mr. Rubio,
Couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
Sanders,
Rand Paul, who by the way is a transplant to Kentucky. Charles Booker,
Cox, Mr.
raised
Schumer,
in the holler.
Mr. Scott of Florida, Mr. Scott of South Carolina,
Is Game of Thrones
Shaheen.
I've never seen Game of Thrones or read Game of Thrones, so I don't know if it's dystopian. It might actually be an accurate depiction of history, to be honest with you, from what I know of it.
Stabenow, Mr. Sullivan,
A lot of inbreeding and a lot of like backstabbing. So yeah,
Mr. Tillis,
among royal families,
Toomey.
that's
Mr. Tuberville, Mr. Van Hollen, Mr. Warner, Mr. Warnock, Ms. Warren,
and Borg, you're right. So like, the Daily Wire and PragerU has decided to get into kids entertainment. So what are they doing? They're attacking Disney. Because if they can convince the idiots that follow their shit, they're like, oh no, you shouldn't let your kids consume Disney. Consume the PragerU content. Consume Daily Wire content. It's twofold. They make money off of it. It's a grift. And they're indoctrinating the stupid ass kids. Yes, Alito's neighbors gave out wine and cheese plates. Here's a picture of it.
Senators voting in the affirmative, Baldwin,
Another one gave out key lime pie, apparently, as well.
Rono, King, Markey, Menendez,
True, RB, true.
Padilla, Peters, Reed, Rosen,
More like the Bible come to life.
Stabenow, Warner, Warren, and Whitehouse. Mr. Manchin,
Scrappy, you make an excellent point.
aye.
I don't know about usually, because boy, I've met some people that have grown up in that shit and just can't see past it. But there is a high percentage of backfiring.
Cornyn, Fisher, Grassley, Inhofe, Johnson, Lee, Portman, Risch, Browns, Rubio, and Scott of Florida. Mr. Moran, no.
I mean, that's the thing, is one of the protests
No.
against Kavanaugh was organized by his fucking neighbor. Because, I mean, they're likely to live in affluent areas, probably with other lawyers. And that type of person, a lawyer who's making, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 a year, $500,000 a year, highly educated, just tends to be a shit lib.
Mr. Wyden, aye.
Oof. Like, Borg, you pose that. Would you rather have nuclear fire watch over the planet or have Republicans in power for 150 years? Like, that's the Office meme, like, with Pam, like, it's the same picture.
Mr. Crapo,
Corporate needs you to tell the difference in the two. It's the same picture. Support people vote. Like, journalists are camping out in people's yards and shit, so apparently they've got permission to do that. They probably are, like, feeding them power and stuff.
Mr. Casey, aye.
Oh, even washover. It's the same thing. Same thing.
Mr. Romney, no.
I'm not farting. I'm readjusting my back. Of course Mitt Romney voted no. He's not a moderate Republican. PBS's feed keeps cutting in and out. There's old lady Kennedy.
Mr. Kennedy, no. Mr. Hawley,
RB, you are correct. But also, like, I wanted to add to that, and you're not gonna like this one. It's also that baby boomer Cold War propaganda. That's one of the reasons why these old assholes keep holding on so long, is because they believe the kids are gonna institute socialism. That's why we got Joe Biden right now. He couldn't fucking step out of the way. No, socialism will win. We're also fighting that fucking Red Scare Cold War propaganda. On top of the Lost Cause propaganda. Well, they keep saying if they don't act, socialism is gonna win. I can't fucking tell. I would like to shake hands with your comrade, Father. There is
aye. Mr. Cotton.
There is Senator Sinema in a looks to be a rainbow skirt. She's very sparkly. That's the problem, Scrappy, is that people won't get mad enough until it affects them. And that was me growing up. I was always on my parents' ass because they never gave a shit about politics. My mom is very, like, she's into late 19th century and early 20th century European history. She loves movies, period pieces. You know, she loves the Charlie Chaplin and shit like that. So when the Republican Party in the mid-2010s started really going crazy, Trump scared the shit out of her, and she started donating to Democrats and voting for Democrats. But, like, it's too fucking late. That's another thing that rugged individualism. That propaganda has been beat into our heads. Because they don't want you to take collective action, because collective action is a threat to their wealth. It's also like the old adage that you'll get more conservative as you get older. That only works in good times. That only worked, you know, through the fucking 90s and shit.
Mr. Tester.
That don't work when you've seen multiple recessions, when you've seen multiple crashes. Puritan work. Oh, if I ended up not finishing the year I was going to, the first thesis I wrote for my philosophy degree, or I was going to write, I didn't actually get around to it. I had a bad semester and dropped a bunch of classes. Stayed another year, but the first time I was going to go for my philosophy degree and write my thesis, it was on the weird contradiction between
Mr. Mr. Tuberville.
faith in the U.S.
No.
and capitalism and how that, went back to the Calvinists and how you had to constantly be working so you didn't have idle time that the devil could take advantage of and shit, which was capitalist propaganda. But I didn't get the chance to actually write that paper, unfortunately. I was going to really enjoy that. I suffered a bad bout of depression that year. I went out on a date with a young lady, and her response, this was around that time, went on a date with a young lady, and her response to me was, "A girl has fucked your head up spectacularly."
Miss Hassan.
That was her response after our first date. Yes, she did. Oh, I've gone far more to the left as I've gotten older. I mean, I was president of the Young Republicans in high school. Then I started smoking pot. I was president of the Young Republicans in high school. 9/11 happened my senior year. Boris has a TikTok now. Oh, my God. Justin FREAKIN has a TikTok now. I haven't really promoted it. I've been posting the FREAKIN news on TikTok as of late. Justin is Boris confirmed. If you'd like to follow Justin FREAKIN on TikTok, there you go. Less than a minute away from finding out the vote total of him twerking on top of Big Ben. I'd watch that. That would be the top story on the Troll Patrol that night. Is Boris going to resign, Warlord? They keep calling on him to resign. It doesn't look like he's going to go for it. We're not going to find out right away. They're still gonna fucking lead us around by the balls for a little bit. We've been here before. Well, there's Mitch McConnell. Oh, that's not Mitch McConnell. I'm sorry. I think that's Senator Whitehouse. I just saw the back of his head, and I thought that was Charlie man, Mitch McConnell. I can't enhance it, son. What do you want me to do? If I blow up the display, I guess I can indeed do that. It would become more pixelated. Get your TikTok account in 2030. I'm just throwing it out there. But okay, so here's the thing with TikTok is like the algorithm is more organic. So instead of getting 5 or 6 views of my videos like I do on YouTube, I actually get a couple hundred views. The ones I posted yesterday have gotten like 60, 70 views. Media winch. This is the vote to codify Roe v. Wade, which is going to fail. This is all political theater. We knew it was going to fail. It was just a reason for me to get on here and talk to you fine people. Smoke a little pot. I wasn't doing any work at the moment I realized that this was going on. I was like, oh shit, let's go live with this. I was actually, I apologize to the 2 people that listen to the Troll Patrol on podcast. Likely you're not watching on stream if you listen on podcast. I forgot to put the podcast up last night. It's totally my fault. I was going to do it. As soon as I got off of the Troll Patrol, I had a message from Sparkles. I went and took all my shit off, took all my clothes off, and came back in here in my shorts and my wife beater.
down. Aye.
And I had a message from Sparkles that said, "Hey, are you hungry?" and showed me a picture of this gigantic ass thing of lasagna she made. And I said, well, you know what? I didn't want to have to cook tonight, so yes, I would love some of that lasagna. And she fixed me up a gigantic plate of lasagna. I mean, seriously, when she gave it to me, I'm like, how much fucking lasagna did you give me? But I came back, I ate my lasagna, I got back on the computer to do something, which I would assume would be put the podcast up, and that's when, like, I ended up messaging my friend, and was like, hey, you ready to get your ass beat on Injustice? Sparkles is at work. They do not give her time to do, like, she has no downtime at work. She barely gets a break. But she also, she really likes the workplace. She's really happy with her job now. So. Unfortunately, Porg, that's not likely to happen. Maybe by the end of the decade.
Ms. Collins, no.
I mean, we've got to have some of these old fucks die off because they're not going to retire. They're not going to give us the reins. I am 37 fucking years old. I am 37 years old. My generation
South Carolina
should be running things by now.
Mrs. Shaheen,
Or at the very least, sharing power with the Generation X. The media winch, producer Dave, their generation should be the one in power. And mine coming into power. Instead, we've got fucks that are older than baby boomers.
Mr. Thune.
Like, seriously, Leahy is like 77 or something. I don't even think that's a baby boomer. That motherfucker is still like part of the greatest generation. Oh, wow. Good on Spain. I actually watched a really cool video about like how like 90% of Spain's population
Mrs. Blackburn,
lives in like
no.
Madrid or along the coast. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Gen X doesn't run anything either. All these old fucks should be gone. I'm sorry, RB. I'm starting to get a little hungry as well. You know what I'm going to have as soon as I get off here? Another piece of Sparkles lasagna. She put all the cheeses in it. That's what she said. She's like, I put all the cheeses in it. All the ricotta in it. Good, too. It was very cheesy. Sorry, Leedy. Sorry. Now it's fillets. Ooh, everybody coming in here talking about food. Sparkles and I had been on an amazing run of restaurants. Every restaurant we had gone to had just been spectacular. We'd been very happy with it up until this past Friday. Very unhappy with our pizza that we got. I'm thinking about for my birthday stream, perhaps we'll cook. Perhaps the show will come on early and we'll cook. Last year we did a whole big stream on the Troll Patrol. It was actually Sparkle's first appearance on stream. This year my birthday falls on a Friday.
Mr. Kelly, aye.
Guy Comment, you are correct. Like, we kill all the businesses. Who killed you can't go to Chili's now.
Aye.
Because the millennials killed the Chili's. I don't know exactly what we would be cooking. I've given her two options on, oh, is Chili's not out of business? I thought it was. What am I thinking of? What's the other 90s chain restaurant like that doesn't exist anymore? There's one of them. I swear I'm not lying. And millennials killed it. Joni still exists. There's one about an hour and a half away, and Sparkles is constantly trying to get me to go to breakfast with her. I don't do breakfast. I don't eat until, like, later on. I think Fridays is still a thing. One of them died. Finnegan's.
Mr. Young. Mr. Young, no.
Maybe. I don't fucking know. I don't eat at chain restaurants.
Aye.
Ooh, Leedy ordering pizza. I hope it's better than the pizza that Sparkles and I had. We ordered margarita pizza, which is usually good. Like I thought they usually have chicken on them. There was no meat on this pizza. It was just tomato and like pesto and a little bit of cheese, and Sparkles was very unhappy. Very unhappy. Where's my meat? That was our fault though, because she asked the waitress what she recommended, and she was like margarita pizza. And like, all right, we get margarita pizza before. It's good. We'll go with it. But I thought it usually had chicken on it. Because that's one of the reasons why Sparkles doesn't like to do Italian very often is because of the meat sauce. It gives her heartburn, so she doesn't like to do it late in the day before we do the freak show. We don't get pizza very often. Wait, what? Are we we're taking a roll call vote on the nomination of Alvaro M. Bedoya of Maryland. Did we even get the final vote tally of the Roe v. Wade vote?
Mrs. Hyde-Smith. Mrs. Hyde-Smith, no.
Oh, really? It doesn't usually have chicken on it? Oh, well, every other time I've gotten it, it's had chicken on it. Did they give us the final tally?
Sanders, aye.
Oh, we're voting on this first and then Roe? No, I believe they've already voted on Roe. But I guess they're going to go ahead and take this vote as well. No chicken? Maybe I am just mistaken. That happens quite often. Yeah, I don't have a final vote count here, so I don't know that they ever announced it, but once again, like, it failed, but I would like to know what the actual number was. Was it 49 to 51? Did other Democrats vote with Republicans? We've been getting a pizza that has this God, what all did it have on it? Chorizo, a balsamic glaze. Hold on, let me see if I can, like, it was a weird pizza, but I've really enjoyed it. We've got it a couple times.
Leahy. Mr. Leahy, aye.
Oh, wrong. Gotta remember the name of the place we got it from. Okay, Mario.
Ms. Klobuchar, aye.
Fuck you, Amy Klobuchar.
Mr. Sass, no.
Fuck you, Ben Sass. I don't even see the menu. Yeah, I don't. Guy comment, your message to conservative boomers is spot on. I don't. What did Warlord tell me so about over here? What's this clip? Get 60 votes right now. It's not even going to get 50, which is a fucking shame. Joe Manchin came out earlier today and said he cannot support this legislation because he says it doesn't codify Roe, it expands abortion. Fuck all the way off Joe Manchin. Oh, that's when it moved to the roll call vote for the nomination of Alvaro Bedoya. Thank you, RB. I am so bad about doing that shit. I'm so bad about promoting myself. It really, like, when I turn on a YouTube video and someone's like, hey, everybody, be sure to hit the subscribe button, give me a like, and share it out with all your blah, 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 blah. Like, it annoys the fuck out of me, so I don't do it. But the reason they do that is because it's effective. Because even sometimes, like, oh, hey, like, I'm watching a channel. Have I given them a subscription? Have I given them a like? Let me go do that. It's effective. It's effective, and that's why people do it. But also, like, ugh. That's why I just put it in the thing right there. And then I've got the things that pop up down there. They do it for me. And all the shit is in the description. All my links to my other social media and stuff are in the description. If you're not following me on Twitter, go follow me on Twitter because, like, I'm fresh. I'm fresh on Twitter. I was just born just a few months ago. I've never been on Twitter before. Ever. Trust me. Never happened. Yeah, the Discord is awesome. I'm not in there much, and I apologize for that. But RB, Amnestic, they keep it. I'm sorry, Warlord. I believe RB is in there as well, but Warlord and Amnestic are really keeping it running. Love you guys. Scrappy's in there too. You've got the Warlord World News Service. Like, if the Troll Patrol isn't enough news for you, Warlord will hook you up. It is a fantastic wire service. And yes, even sometimes when I need to find stories, I go to the Warlord World News Service. Media Winch, I have never been on Twitter before. I have only been on Twitter for like the last 4 or 5 months. Shh. Shh. What is this Twitter? I've never used it before. Just saying. I have never used Twitter before. If you're not following me on Twitter,
Mr. Sullivan.
Go tweet my twats like my mom used to say.
Mr. Kramer. No. Mrs. Capito.
Discord is cool.
No.
You can hop in the Discord.
No.
As I've said before, like, it causes my computer to crash with my video editing software open. So that's why I don't get on Discord as much. I put it on my phone, though. That's why I've been a little bit more responsive about Discord, because I did put it on my phone.
Mr. Carper, aye.
Already giving birth in Discord voice chats. What? That don't sound fun. The birth meme. Check the boys chat. Boys chat.
Mr. Merkley, aye.
If I catch someone giving birth in a voice channel, it's an insta-ban from the group. Wow.
Shelby, no. Mr. Toomey, no. Mr. Barrasso.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Do not get piss in the boys chat. Sparkles hates that. She hates having to clean up piss in the boys chat on Discord. Why is it called the boys chat? For those of you who do not know, one night I was really stoned and I couldn't say voice chat. And Sparkles thought I said boys chat. So we now have a boys chat. And she's pretty much the moderator around there. Go in there and you fuck up the boys chat, she's going to come after you. When we got the hate raids, she's like, everybody just came in here and like throwing shit around, pissing and shitting on the floor, all over the boys chat. I had to clean it up. Oh, fuck, do I still have... She left a voice message. Let me... Hold on. I might still have that. Dinesh D'Souza! Thank you for being a freaking follower. Are you the Dinesh D'Souza? Because if you are, please come on with me right now. I have a lot of questions for you. If you are the Dinesh D'Souza, who apparently... swings a massive cock around because all the conservative ladies want him.
Mr. McConnell. Mr. McConnell, no.
Of course McConnell was a no. Hold on. This was Sparkles in response to the hate raids in the boys chat.
I just wanted you to know I'm okay. I was able to escape Twitch before it collapsed. I made it over to Discord, but the boys chat's a fucking mess, and I'm having to clean everything up over here.
Oh, goddamn. So we have a lot of fun on the Discord. If you're not on the Discord, join the Discord. I'm going to try to get in there more, I swear. The fucking mess. She's having to clean everything up. Don't forget to watch the Friday Night Freak Show with myself and Sparkles Lavendar.
Mr. Hickenlooper.
Friday night. Oh, fucking shit. Fucking, have you been on with Pangburn? I'll go on with Pangburn. Here's the thing, guys. At this point in time, if I want to grow the Troll Patrol, I know what I have to do. I have to go and appear on panels. In case you guys haven't noticed, I don't really like the whole panel thing. I don't think I would do well on a panel. I think I have to do some smaller panels before I get up to a Destiny panel. I don't think Destiny's just going to have me on. Probably Prime K's is where I got to start. But I'm not looking forward to it. I don't want to do it, but like, it's in order to grow the channel, I'm gonna have to go be on other people's streams. Blah blah blah. Yeah, but the panel's just like me and Sparkles, and sometimes Media Winch. I originally wanted producer Dave to produce the Freak Show remotely and be the producer, but unfortunately Dave sometimes takes gigs on Friday night, so he couldn't commit to doing it every week, so we couldn't work that out. I need to get in touch with Danabo and get on the hippy dippy recruitment panel. Rams, that would be a good one for me to do. I have a thing for like a podcast guest and shit, but like it's never anything political. Talon of the Silver Hawk, welcome. Thank you for being a freaking follower. Every interaction I've had with Danabo has been super cool, super chill. We follow each other on Twitter and shit. I think I even asked to be on one of the, what do they call that? The rankings of the Twitch streamers. I'm not big enough yet
No.
to be on any of the rankings of the Twitch streamers. I would love to go on the Joe Rogan Experience. Hopefully one of these days. I'd love to go on the Anthony Cumia show. I think Anthony Cumia and I would make a fantastic duo. That we should be podcasters together, but my fear is that Anthony Cumia would not take kindly to some of the things that I would have to say to him, and he would shoot me in the fucking face. I think the dude's funny, but I also think the dude is a raging asshole that needs to be put in his place. I fucking, my entire 20s, I fucking loved Opie and Anthony. Yes, I saw you guys make it to A tier. President Elon. Unfortunately, I mean, that's not out of the realm of possibility. That is not a President Elon in our lifetimes is not out of the realm of possibility, and that's a sad indictment of the state of affairs here in this fucking country. Voosh says I have a wicked, what did he say? Wicked sick aesthetic. I have a wicked sick aesthetic. What side of this am I on? On the nomination of Alvaro M. Bedoya to the Federal Trade Commission? I assume Alvaro is qualified and should probably be seated on the Federal Trade Commission. I assume you mean on the Roe v. Wade. There's not a side. There are people who are standing up for women's rights and bodily autonomy, and there are asshole Nazis who want to take bodily autonomy away from women. There's not really a side to take. Oh, yeah, that's right. Elon wasn't born here. That's right. I forgot all about that. No President Elon. Unless they changed the rules, didn't they propose changing the Constitution for somebody at one point in time? They floated that.
No. Mr. Daines, no.
Well, thank you, Talon. I try to be interesting. It's called the Troll Patrol. We're very colorful. If you're since you're new here, you might know where I stand on certain issues. The issue I'm most passionate about is me getting to piss in Dan Crenshaw's open eye hole. That is the issue that is currently on the top of my list. We need to make it a reality that I get to piss in Dan Crenshaw's open eye hole. Talon's like, what the fuck did I just stumble into? Oh, shit. I am a single eye hole voter. That's exactly right. I am not high enough for this shit.
Ms. Ernst, no.
She Jesus Christ, there's a lot of you in here right now. This isn't even my normal time. Welcome, though. Welcome. If you don't normally follow the Troll Patrol, we're usually on at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 Pacific. We do a daily rundown of the day's top stories. Hold on. I'll let Matt Walsh actually explain it. How about that?
Now we turn to YouTuber Justin.
Hold on. Matt Walsh will explain to you what we do here on the Troll Patrol.
Now we turn to YouTuber Justin FREAKIN. The guy's he's a formidable voice in the culture. Uncensored and unfiltered political talk and debate from a leftist perspective. The day's top news stories and videos with astute social commentary.
There you go. So, the Daily Wire's Matt Walsh telling you exactly what this show is about. I have a far right. I used to call him a friend. He's a far right wing radio host. I did a little work for him years ago. And I trolled him the other day, and he's like, "There's no way Matt Walsh talked about you on his show." And I'm like, "He certainly did." You wish the Daily Wire would mention you. Not only has Matt Walsh talked about me, but I've been retweeted by Jeremy Boring. The Daily Wire fucking loves me, except they don't love me enough to give me a job, apparently. Hold on. Justin, thank you for your application to Daily Wire. We appreciate the opportunity to review your application for assistant video editor. Unfortunately, we have decided not to move your application forward. We will keep you in mind for future openings with the Daily Wire. I don't know why they didn't hire me, because on the application I put, Matt Walsh says I'm a formidable voice in the culture, and then I linked to my YouTube trailer. Yeah, that's in that video. Walsh said I had a wicked sick aesthetic. He's been super cool to me. I know a lot of people have beef with Walsh. I don't know what the beef is. But every interaction I've had with Walsh, he has been super fucking cool to me. Once again, I don't pay attention to other streamers. I don't pay attention to commentators because I don't want their opinions to seep into mine. Same thing when I'm doing stand-up. I don't consume a lot of other stand-up comedian shit because I don't want to accidentally, like, through osmosis, steal their jokes. Who invited Abby? Found me through Whoosh. Vosh has been super cool. Vosh has been super cool. Lance from the Surfs have been super cool. They were another channel that shouted me out. Yeah, I don't know. I try not to get into the Twitter drama or in the Twitch drama, and apparently there's a lot of it. There's a lot of it. Justin just keeps over here to himself. Troll people. You can call in. You can Discord in. You can argue with me. I like to argue about facts and shit, data that we can look up and stuff. You'll notice that if I, take calls. I don't like their, telling personal stories and shit. I've got the one dude that, super nice guy. His heart's in the right place, but he's against unions in grocery stores because he has a friend, and they tell him that lazy people take advantage of union practices. I talked to actual Jake yet? Why do I know that name? It appears that I've been on actual Jake's Twitch at some point in time. I am now following actual Jake. The Corn Man! I do believe I follow Hannah Reloaded.
Mr. Van Hollen.
Roland, what's up? He is made only of corn. Don't show me the fuck. I like corn, guys. And I got some awesome street corn at that restaurant Sparkles and I went to. Not this past weekend, but the weekend before last. Fucking awesome corn. Jesus. I'm still raving over how good that corn was. That's probably the best part of the dinner. The burger I got was good, but the corn was fucking excellent. I gotta thank Sparkles for that. It was like, you know, street corn, but it was off of the cob. So it had fried onions and paprika and, like, you know, the what's the white crumbly cheese? What's that fucking called? Just queso cheese. Glad you popped in. Sorry it's under these circumstances where we're watching the Democrats fail at trying to codify Roe v. Wade. Codcha cheese? Yes, it was a corn bowl. It was like it was a side dish at the restaurant had a southern flair to it. Like, it was like a high-class southern food. Cojita. Did I say it right that time? Whatever the white shit is. The white crumbly cheese that they put on Mexican food. I like it. It's good shit.
On this vote, the yeas are 50, the nays are 50. The Senate being equally divided, the Vice President votes in the affirmative and the nomination is confirmed. Under the previous order, the motion to reconsider is considered made and laid upon the table.
Nomination to the Federal Trade Commission of Alvaro M. Bedoya has advanced. Ooh, pulled pork tacos.
Clerk will report the motion to invoke cloture.
Cloture motion. We, the undersigned senators, in accordance with the provisions of Rule 22 of the Standing Rules of the Senate, do hereby move to bring to a closed debate on the motion to proceed to calendar number 362, S4132, a bill to protect a person's ability to determine whether to continue or end a pregnancy and to protect a health provider's ability to provide abortion services, signed by 19 senators.
By unanimous consent, the mandatory quorum call has been waived. The question is it in the sense of the Senate to debate on the motion to proceed to S4132, a bill to protect a person's ability to determine whether to continue or
absolutely make a gaming chat.
To protect a healthcare provider's ability to provide abortion services shall be brought to a close. The yeas and nays are mandatory under the rule. The clerk will call the roll.
Ms. Baldwin. Mr. Barrasso. Mr. Bennett.
This is indeed bullshit.
Mrs. Blackburn.
Also, I'm sorry for talking my ass off and not even noticing that they weren't voting on that when we took the vote. I also need more coffee, and I'm not high enough for this shit.
Mr. Blunt. Mr. Booker. Mr. Bozeman. Mr. Braun.
Ooh, game in chat.
Mr. Brown.
That's what I've been doing on Grindr, but I mean, are we moving it over to the Discord now? I tend to get distracted.
Cantwell.
I like to talk, and
Capito.
sometimes we get off topic and we talk. I'm telling stories about shit Sparkles and I have done, talking about food.
Mr. Carper. Mr. Casey. Mr. Cassidy. Ms. Collins. Mr. Coons. Okay. Mr. Cornyn. Ms. Cortez Masto. Mr. Cotton. Mr. Kramer. Mr. Crabo. Mr. Cruz. Mr. Daines. Ms. Duckworth. Mr. Durbin. Ms. Ernst. Mrs. Feinstein.
I am so sorry I left you
Mrs.
guys
Fisher.
alone with these scary people for that long.
Mrs. Gillibrand. Mr. Graham. Mr. Grassley.
I'm gonna do it again because I don't want to keep smoking out of my
Mr.
metal
Haggerty.
pipe. I want something else.
Ms. Hassan. Mr. Hawley. Mr. Heinrich.
The chair stream.
Mr. Hickenlooper.
3D. I'd go more than 3.
Mr. Rono.
Like there are people I don't like
Mr.
Cory
Logan.
Booker, who would say that's somebody I disagree with, but is probably a good person. Elizabeth Warren is a good person. Bernie Sanders is a good person.
Mr. Inhofe.
There's more
Mr. Johnson.
in the Senate. Chucky Schumer is probably overall a pretty good guy.
Kane.
Is this a vice presidential debate?
Mr. Kelly. Mr. Kennedy.
All right, I'm gonna let you guys pick which
King.
one you want. Big one or little one? Because I can't really describe their colors. This is like a rainbow,
It's
grow
Klobuchar.
up, multicolored. Looks like Fruity Loops, and this one is. I don't even know what you would call that design.
Mr. Langford.
Neither. Warlord says neither. Sorry, these are the two that I picked. Always the big one.
Mr. Lee.
They both hit well. But this might be, of my glass
Lujan.
pieces, this might be the one that hits the best. I do really, really like this one.
Ms. Lummis. Mr. Mason.
Everybody picked the big one.
Mr. Markey.
Look at you guys.
You live in sexual anarchy.
Mr. Marshall.
You all want the big one.
Mr. McConnell. Mr. Menendez.
Oh my God, Dustin, don't even get me started with that fucking...
Moran. Ms.
If Elizabeth Warren really wanted to be president, her best shot at being president
Mr. Murphy.
was being vice president and possibly Treasury Secretary under Bernie Sanders.
Mr. Ossoff.
That would have been her best fucking shot. Why she didn't see that is beyond me.
Paul. Mr. Peters. Mr. Portman.
Now, would I support her if she
Mr. Reed.
ran against Joe
Rick.
Biden in 2024? Yeah, probably. Yeah, yep.
Mr. Romney.
Which is, by the way, guys, if you're not aware of this, the Bernie Sanders run in 2016 only happened because Bernie was encouraging Elizabeth Warren to run, and Warren wouldn't. The whole Bernie Sanders movement almost didn't happen. He was encouraging Elizabeth Warren. I'm sorry, in 2012.
Sanders.
The primary, Barack Obama.
Mr. Schatz. Mr. Schumer.
Bernie has left the door open to running in 2024. Would I support him again? Absolutely.
Mr. Scott of South Carolina.
Oh, you're trying to Corbyn our Bernie movement is what you're doing, warlord.
Mr. Shelby.
I'm still behind the idea of Katie Porter, though, primarying Joe Biden.
Ms. Smith. Ms. Stabenow. Mr. Sullivan. Mr. Tester.
I don't think AOC is old enough yet. I think she won't be old enough until like the end of the decade.
Mr. Tillis. Mr. Toomey.
But I don't know that...
Mr. Tuberville.
I don't know that AOC is the right pick. There are several Democrats that I fucking love that I support, but they're very young and inexperienced.
Mr. Warnock. Ms. Warren.
That's why I've been so you got to be 35 to be president, right? Yeah. So she wouldn't have met the threshold by this election cycle.
Mr. Young.
Would she be 35 by the time she would assume office? Sounds like she's close. She's right on the line.
Senators voting in the affirmative. Baldwin, Blumenthal, Booker, Cardin, Durbin, Gillibrand.
In October of 2020, so that means she would be,
Lujan, Murray,
she would
Reed,
qualify.
Schatz, Schumer, Sinema, Smith, Van Hollen, Warren, Wyden.
I mean, I love AOC, and there's a very good possibility AOC will definitely be president in this country.
Daines,
if we survive.
Hyde-Smith,
If democracy survives.
Lummis, Moran, Murkowski, Portman.
What little bit of democracy we have survives.
Tillis.
Oh, the sparkly skirt, that is Senator Kristen
Rounds.
Sinema.
Mr. Rounds, no.
I am not high enough for this shit.
Mr. Bozeman, no. Mr. Wicker, no.
Well, if her birthday's in October, she would be 35 before both the election and the time she's... Sorry, I told you. This thing hits well. The hell of a pipe, I love it. I don't even remember where I got this fucker from. And it doesn't look like something I'd usually buy either. I would assume it was on sale. I'm like,
Mr.
let me have that
Shelby.
motherfucker.
Mr. Shelby, no.
Oh, thank you. This just isn't a design that I'd usually go for. I like loud purple and shit. Like, So there had to be something up with it. There had to be a reason I got it, but like functionality wise, it's probably the best hitting glass piece I have. The Kentucky FBI.
Aye.
Called the KBI.
Cortez Masto, Ms. Cortez Masto.
Media winch.
Aye.
Yeah, if it's been smoked out of, I wouldn't send it through the mail.
Mr. Menendez, aye.
Fuck you, Bob Menendez. I know, and you got in fucking Sparkle's head, and she won't do it anymore. And now it's always a pain in the ass because I hate fucking joints. I hate joints and blunts, and that's all she ever wants to fucking use now. I am originally from Kentucky. I was born and raised in Appalachia, a little town called Pikeville. I don't think they hit as well. I don't think joints hit as well. And you say you never have to clean a joint, but you got to do something with the fucking roach. Oh, as a reminder for everybody, be sure to change your bong water. It's black, since we're talking about it. Seriously, back when she would still smoke bongs, every time she would come over, she'd be like, clean your bong water. You're going to give us Legionnaire's disease. Like, fucking, it's been in there like a couple of weeks.
Mr. Barrasso. No.
Fuck you, Barrasso. Thanks, Ellen. This is I'm a meme lord, in case you guys didn't know. This is a good one for right now. I saw this and sent it to Sparkles immediately because I knew she'd love it. Well, I hate it when women, take that shit and dip it. Media winch, you're talking to somebody who fucking keeps his ash and his resin and shit that he cleans out of his bongs and bowls for hard times. And you're gonna talk to me about like, by the third hit, you're just smoking reused carbon. I keep all the trash just for hard times, so I can get that last little bit of THC out of it. Struckness Monster. I don't think I got that right. Struckness Monster. Welcome. Thank you for being a freaking follower. Yes, Black Lives Matter. We totally support. Goes without saying around here. It's one of those things where it just seems so obvious to me.
Mr. Cotton. No.
I smoke so goddamn much. I have chillums. I don't smoke out of the chillums because I smoke so goddamn much that it's easier to pack a bong
Mr. Casey.
or a pipe and have it sitting next to my tables and playing video games or shit. Like, I just take a hit every now and again. Or as I'm doing the stream, I just take a hit every now and again. Are you winning, son? That's exactly what's good. We're looking at the Senate being like, are you winning, son? No, we are not, Dad.
No.
It'd be hilarious if Joe Biden sticks his head through the door of the Senate. Are you winning, son? Media winch. Me and Curiouser went and got 10 ounces last time we got some. Which is about a half pound. That was like just a couple weeks ago. I have a feeling she'll be back in a couple of weeks. I may need her to drive me downtown to get a piece of identification. I've run into a problem that I need identification for. Parental unit. Borg, I will try to remember. Parental unit. Parental unit, I will try to remember to refer to you as parental unit. Okay, so I, like the body buzz that you get from a tincture or an edible, like, it's okay, but, like, it's not what I enjoy. It's not and that may be in my head. That may all be in my head, that it is a completely different buzz, but I don't think it is because your body processes it differently when you're ingesting it. It's just me. And also, I like to smoke. I miss smoking cigarettes. To be completely honest with you, I can't smoke them anymore just because I will get sick. But I still miss smoking cigarettes, and that's one of the reasons why I probably smoke so much pot. Cigarette-free since 2017, January of 2017.
No. Mr. Peters, aye.
I quit smoking when I moved in this apartment. I moved in this apartment the day that Trump was sworn in office, January 20th, 2017.
Mrs. Feinstein, aye.
I'm now in my second president without a cigarette. That's pretty fucking cool. I probably smoke way more just because I like the act of smoking. Especially while driving. Pepe's giving me a clap. Oh, shit. Fuck you, Warlord. Take your Pepe and shove it. I got kecked at on... First of all, like, I had to look it up again exactly what keck means. I got kecked at on Twitter. Keck is an online term with similar meanings to LOL or ha ha ha, used especially by gamers. Since the 2016 U.S. presidential election, the Egyptian god Kek, portrayed as Pepe the Frog, has become a symbol of the so-called alt-right. I don't know your guys' lingo. Remember, I'm kind of old, guys.
Mr. Warnock, aye.
Heck is a World of Warcraft meme.
Mr.
Okay.
McConnell, no. Mr. Scott of South Carolina, no. Mr. Tuberville, no. Ms. Collins, no.
Susan Collins? I thought you supported Roe v. Wade, and you were upset. You were upset. The judges lied to you. I am almost 40. It surprises me how old I am. I am the first of the millennials.
Aye.
Oh, if you were a human in WoW, when orc players said LOL in their language, it displayed Kek to you. Interesting.
Mr. Paul.
I always need a Band-Aid. No. Ask Sparkles how often I cut myself.
Mr. Murphy, aye. Mr. Sass, no. Mr. Brown, aye.
Lydia, I don't want to get into a conversation about your age. That seems impolite. starting to feel old, though. Some of the references the kids throw out go over my head.
Mr. Sanders, aye.
Sherrod Brown is an excellent senator. Especially coming from the state of Ohio. You would almost expect a senator from the state of Ohio to be like Senator Manchin from West Virginia. No. Sherrod Brown is excellent. That is what a populist Democrat looks like. Yeet is in the dictionary. Now, I'm still not real sure what yeet means. Seems like it has a kind of nebulous meaning, doesn't it? I see people using it in different ways.
Mr. Risch. No.
Yeet is a slang word that functions broadly with the meaning of to throw, but is especially used to emphasize forcefulness and a lack of concern for the thing being thrown. I don't know why. Okay, here's the problem with the Democratic Party: is Sherrod Brown is a lesser known progressive. Sherrod Brown should be one of the faces of the fucking party. That's how you win in a red state, with a populist message that appeals to people. And also, like, he's not totally a leftist. He is on the progressive side of liberal. So if that is really what the Democratic Party wants to be, they should be promoting Sherrod Brown at every chance they fucking get. He should be one of the figureheads of the fucking party, if that's truly what the Democrat wants to be. That's what you want to be: a populist, working class, but still somewhat liberal party that can appeal to business. Sherrod Brown is your roadmap.
Aye.
I love how you guys are just all going off on yeet. I'm on a tangent about Sherrod Brown, how fucking awesome he is, and how the Democrats are wasting an opportunity.
Mr. Scott of Florida, no.
That is nothing but yeets. Well, we're moments away from figuring out exactly how they voted. It's gonna fail. If you're just joining us, this is the vote to codify Roe v. Wade is what they're calling it.
Mr. Lee.
It is going to fail. They don't even have the entire Democratic caucus voting. Well, I mean, clearly he's appealing to most Ohioans. He won statewide election there, and he's incredibly popular. But yeah, he's a fucking commie to most idiots.
Do you think we're stupid? You think we're fools?
Yes, I do. It got awfully quiet on the Senate floor. There are no senators there anymore. They have all left. It wouldn't surprise me. Like, it seriously would not surprise me if a Democrat refrained from voting because they knew it wasn't going to pass. It would not, like, I'm not going to be shocked to see a 52 to 48 vote. 52 to 47. Eat them in the trash.
Mr. Carper, aye.
We went to Dunkin' Donuts the other day, and apparently Dunkin' Donuts forgot how to make coffee and forgot how to make donuts. Because they had neither for us. They had neither. We couldn't get coffee or donuts. We ended up with donut holes and some kind of a beverage that was like chocolate water. Eat all Republicans. Yes, that was indeed a fail. I mean, I drank it, and I ate the little, we had donut holes. We were able to get some donut holes.
No.
Ooh, salmon poke bowl. That sounds awesome.
No.
They only do breakfast sandwiches now at Dunkin'? I don't fucking know. I don't usually go out. I make my own coffee. But like, what we were
Mr. Hickenlooper, Mr.
We were out for some reason. When we were coming back, she was like, "I want donuts and coffee." Like, okay. I love fucking sushi. We've got a Thai place, and that's probably my favorite place to get sushi now, just because you can get Thai food with the sushi, and their sushi has not been bad at all by any means. It may not be the tippy-top best, but like their sushi's been really fucking good, and you can get pad Thai. We get a giant-ass pad Thai. We get 2 or 3 sushi rolls, maybe some sashimi. And we split the pad Thai. We split the sushi. Oh. He's a big fan. Like, she loves sashimi. She loves meat. So just like raw slabs of meat, she's all about fucking sashimi. Give her sashimi. That's what here's the thing is like, people are always talking about the left like we've had any fucking power. Like fucking the conservatives have been in power for my entire lifetime. Over 40 years now. It's called the Reagan Revolution. The conservatives came to power and it made the Democrats so fucking scared that they all became conservatives too. And we had third way, blue dog Democrats. They have ran every fucking thing for the last 40 years. If you are upset about what is going on in this country right now, that's who to blame.
Mr. Whitehouse, aye.
It is Republicans and it is the conservative wing of the Democratic Party. No scallops. Oh, shit. Oh, come on. Scallops are amazing. They might be one of my favorite fucking seafoods. You gotta get them right. You get fucking rubbery-ass scallops, and they are horrible.
Mr. Marshall, no.
The thing I don't like the texture of is oysters. But damn, I've had some fried oysters that were good. And then I had, we went to an oyster bar when I was in Atlanta one time for a movie.
Mrs. Blackburn.
And
no.
We ate, I forget the name of the restaurant, but it's like overlooking the city of Atlanta. It has this open balcony. And we had these oyster shots that were just fantastic. Like there were 3 different shots, and we did like one of each. You know, we ordered one of each for the whole table, and all of them were fantastic. All of them. I don't like oysters. Oh, I like fish. Salmon is probably my favorite fish. Here's like the thing I love about salmon is the skin. I love to get a bourbon brown sugar glaze on fucking salmon crispy skin. Fuck. I almost orgasmed right now just thinking about it. God damn. I have never had oysters Rockefeller. I would totally try it. That may be one of those things where I just have to, cook myself. It was like beef Wellington. I've always heard about beef Wellington. I wanted to do beef Wellington. I had to just go ahead and cook it myself. Made it on Thanksgiving, and I kicked ass. Didn't look pretty. It tasted amazing. Ooh, fucking fried catfish is so excellent. Love fried catfish. I don't like relish, so I make my own tartar sauce. I use like a balsamic vinaigrette with some mayo. Lemon juice on there. Fucking A. Speaking of cooking, we're still voting on abortion rights. Ah ha ha.
You live in sexual anarchy?
I'm thinking we're gonna do a food stream for my birthday.
No.
I'll let you guys know. I have been trying to talk to Sparkles about what to do for my birthday stream, and she's just like said nothing. So I guess if I'm gonna come up with something special to do for a birthday stream, I'm gonna have to come up with it, because it's coming up awful fast. But if I can get my other camera to work, we're gonna put it over there in the kitchen, I think. And we haven't decided. I'm gonna let her pick between two different desserts that I picked out. These are the two things I want. I want a cookie brownie with ice cream, or I saw this, and like I'd already said cookie brownie before I saw this cinnamon toast crunch cheesecake.
Mr. Blunt.
I was like, after I saw that, I was like, okay, that or cookie brownie. Whatever you want to do, you pick which one. Well, Amnestic, she can't surprise me because I'm the one that has to do the production for anything that we're doing on the show. She can't surprise me. I have to be set up for whatever special thing we would do. Apparently Media Winch just fired her. Oh shit, Parental Unit has made it to the Discord. I fucking hate it. I fucking hate it when I eat my own hair. It happens way too often.
Mr.
You're
Kelly.
right, I am talking about Sparkles.
Aye.
Her ears are burning right now, and she can't she can't watch the stream. She's like, oh shit. She got the notification in her emails that I went live, and like her ears are burning. She's like, I can't do anything about it. I don't know. I saw it on a Facebook page, and I sent it to Sparkles. I didn't look at the recipe for it. But for those of you who don't know, Cinnamon Toast Crunch is my favorite cereal. I love cheesecake. Many years on my birthday, I've had a cheesecake. Chocolate cheesecake is one of my favorites. Raspberry cheesecake. I love raspberry. Raspberry is one of my favorite fruit flavoring. You get like a raspberry coffee or something, a raspberry tea. My absolute favorite fucking flavor. Usually when I'm drinking tea on the show, I'm drinking a raspberry tea. It could be peach tea, it could be blueberry, it could be cherry. I get like sampler platters of the like the herbal whatever the fuck tea it is. But I get whole boxes of raspberry. I get the sample of the other ones. I get fucking, ooh, a blackberry swirl cheesecake. Oh my god. Also like cobblers.
Sullivan, Mr.
I
Sullivan.
don't, do you guys have cobblers elsewhere in the country? Do people in California know what a cobbler is, or is that a southern thing? Because cobblers, fucking shit. Blueberry cobbler, peach cobbler. I'm down with some goddamn cobbler. Cobblers are amazing. I'm sorry, they're so boring. We get off on food. Fruity Pebbles cheesecake sounds well. The Fruity Pebbles is probably my next favorite cereal. We are indeed getting close to finally finding out what the vote is on the motion to invoke cloture to proceed with the consideration of Senate Bill 4132, the Women's Health Protection Act. That maybe you're gonna have a pepperoni pizza. I fucking love pepperonis. And that's actually, Sparkles talked me out of getting a pepperoni flatbread sandwich at the restaurant we went to a couple weeks ago. Talked me into getting a Diablo burger. Diablo burger was good. That's where I had the corn. The restaurant where I had the fucking corn. Oh, I'm Nestic. Please go back to gaming. Don't let us keep you. You know it's gonna fail. I've already told you the range where the vote is gonna fall. Let's hope it's just 49 to 51, and that there are not any other spineless Democrats. I don't know what you people out there in California do. Do you have biscuits and gravy out there in California? As far as I know, you guys don't know what gray gravy is. Fucking sausage gravy, breakfast gravy. Because, like, you go up north and you ask for some gravy and they put, like, tomato sauce on your shit. Like, this ain't fucking gravy, dude. Oh shit, one time I took a girlfriend to a Cracker Barrel, and granted it was like 9:30, like they were getting ready to close. You know, they were open like 10:30 or something like that, but like I don't think I ordered breakfast. I think I ordered like a country fried steak. I'm very fond of a country fried steak.
Mr. King.
And I asked for gray gravy and they did not have any. They were like, we're out of breakfast gravy. We can put other gravy on there. Like, no! No! You want a country fried steak. You want Cracker Barrel is out of fucking gray gravy. Oh, so you know what I'm talking about. About them calling like a tomato sauce a gravy, right? Oh, I fucking love biscuits and gravy from scratch. I usually don't make it for myself from scratch. I usually just, if I'm gonna make biscuits and gravy, I make everything else from scratch. But I just open a can of like
Mr. Warner.
I get the biscuits that come with like fucking 4 in them, and then usually I don't end up eating 1 or 2 of them. I'm sorry, Amnestic. We'll see you tonight. Them Sopranos Italians. It's the mob-like Italians, not the other Italians. I still need to. I haven't watched the. Have any of you watched the Sopranos story? That's like a young Tony. I haven't watched that yet. Is that any good? Did you ever, like, after the show was on, did you drive down the road with the Woke Up This Morning song playing? I bet that would be really fucking cool, and see, like, the shit that Tony... Many Saints of Newark. Yeah, it's good? Oh, it was okay. Oh, that's fucking awesome. Is The Sopranos like The Godfather? The Sopranos was a show on HBO, and this is spoiler free, but like it starts off with like Tony Soprano is like a mob boss, and he's coping with the mob has lost a lot of their, influence in late 90s, early 2000s, whenever the fuck it came on. It's not what it used to be, and he's like seeing a therapist, and he's trying to work through yada 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 of like, the mob basically losing its influence. And is attached to his mic at the hip. There is a problem with that. There's a problem with that thought process. And I'll show you what that is right now. Yep. I didn't realize it was going to be this difficult to get to.
Mr. Cornyn. Mr. Cornyn.
Nope, that works. That works. So that was a actual clip from the Freak Show. I think that was like Thanksgiving weekend when I got down on the floor and I was talking into the microphone. Everybody saw my entire body, the entire apartment that night. Soprano sounds better. That's a catchier name for marketing purposes. I can totally see that.
Mr. Young, no.
Yeah, a lot of people have a lot of mixed feelings about the ending of Sopranos just because, like, it's very open-ended. It doesn't give you any finality. That's my spoiler-free, and also I haven't seen The Sopranos in, like, 17 years. It's been a very fucking long time since I watched and I was also at the height of my drug problem when it was going on. Those are fake legs. The thing I disliked about the show is it became less about like Tony working through shit with his therapist and stuff and more about just like family drama and shit. I mean, fuck it, like all those shows are those are like the groundbreaking shows. The ones that like took us into the new golden age of television that we're currently in now. Your Breaking Bad, your Sopranos, fucking Sex and the City can be counted in that. What were some of the other shows? Dexter, 6 Feet Under. That kind of shit like was what ushered in Justified and Sons of Anarchy and all that shit was like the rebirth of the golden age of television. The Wire, I left The Wire off. Malcolm in the Middle was revolutionary. Like I'm talking about like the dramedies that became really popular through the 2000s. Malcolm in the Middle is revolutionary for something else because it changed the way sitcoms. It changed, like, it paved the way for your Big Bang Theory and your How I Met Your Mother and like all that shit. Sunny in Philadelphia. Like the way they do Sunny in Philadelphia, it like owes a credit to Malcolm in the Middle. Oh, don't tell me that about Ozark. I haven't even started on it yet. I actually have it. I just haven't started on it yet. Right now, I'm rewatching Better Call Saul because the 3rd episode of the new season of Better Call Saul was so good. I'm like, God damn, I gotta go back and watch this show again. And I'm almost back up to where I am now. I have not watched Deadwood, but Deadwood is definitely one of those that counts in the, like, ushered in the new era of television. The Simpsons. That's a show that revolutionized adult cartoons or reinvigorated adult cartoons. A lot of people don't know that the Flintstones it aired in prime time. It was actually aimed at adults, but that's the last cartoon that was aimed at adults up until The Simpsons. I've always meant to go back and watch Deadwood. And I totally got Ozark just the other day. as well as I got all the seasons of Breaking Bad because I'm like, fuck. Before Better Call Saul comes back on, because they're splitting this new season in half, I'm going to go back and watch Breaking Bad. Because it's been since it was on. God damn, this is taking forever. The 15 minutes for the roll call has expired. Has expired at least 20 minutes ago, 30 minutes ago. Also, like, we saw the senators vacate the Senate. They've now trickled back in. I don't understand what's going on. I have not seen Sweet Tooth. Turn? I've not even heard of Turn. I've not heard of Sweet Tooth. I've not heard of either of those. Live action furry show. Live action furry show. Interesting. Yeah, I've never heard of this Sweet Tooth. What's it on? What's it on? I'm still not high enough for this shit. Okay, Walking Dead is something that I never... How far did I get into it? I watched maybe the first season. Totally couldn't do it. But that's just some things I can't get into. Sons of Anarchy. I watched like the first 9 episodes. And I just like the lead dude. There was just something, I didn't know this at the time, that he's not American, and that's what was bothering me. Was the way he was talking fucked with me, cause his accent was wrong. So I just couldn't do Sons of Anarchy, and I love Ron Perlman, I love Katie Seagal. So, like, I was really stoked for that show, but I hated that dude's accent. Everybody says it's good. Now, I have downloaded Justified. And Justified is probably going to be the next thing I'll watch. And the reason why is because Walton Goggins... It's so fucking good on Righteous Gemstones. As Uncle Baby Billy, it's making me want to go watch everything he's ever fucking done. And I loved him in like the other shit he's been in with Danny McBride, like Vice Principals and shit. So like, Walton Goggins is such a good fucking actor, I'm gonna go back and watch Justified. Oh, it's on Netflix. Wait a minute, it's a DC property and they got Robert Downey Jr.?
Mr. Manchin.
That's wild.
No.
People are raving about it. Sweet Tooth on Netflix. What the fuck is Bridgerton? I've heard people mention it. I've like Saturday Night Live made jokes about it this week.
The nays 51. 3/5 of the senators duly chosen and sworn not having voted in the affirmative.
49 to 51. Thank God. Thank fucking God. All the rest of the Democrats beside Manchin
The clerk will
showed some
report
fucking backbone.
vote cloture.
Cloture motion. We, the undersigned senators, in accordance with the provisions of Rule 22 of the Standing Rules of the Senate, do hereby move to bring to a close debate on the nomination of Executive Calendar Number 865, Julia Ruth Gordon of Maryland, to be an assistant.
And for this to be political theater, they sure aren't making very big of a show of it now, are they? It happened between bullshit votes for nominees.
The question is it the sense of the Senate, the debate on the nomination of Julia Ruth?
Cinema voted yes. Surely she would. Surely she would. Fucking women's group put her where she's at. Surely Cinema would vote yes on that. All right. I don't mean to dump you guys off so fast. But like if I don't, I'm not going to have time to get all my shit done before the Troll Patrol. So, if you're watching on Twitch, tough decision. I'm going to send you over to Hildebeest. Because we haven't had a chance to raid them quite some time.
Good afternoon.
So, because they're not usually on when we're on. Brims is streaming. That's why I said it was a tough decision. Go ahead. Oh, wait a minute. That doesn't work. It doesn't work when I'm on during the day. I can't do that one. So I will leave you guys with the thing I always say when I'm doing stand-up comedy. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. However, that doesn't limit your options very much at all. We'll see you later tonight on the Troll Patrol live at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific.